All right, take a look at this beautiful dump exactly on cue. We already knew we were expecting this, ladies and gents. So do me a favor and smash those likes up if this doesn't take you by surprise. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel, of course, to never miss out on this highly time-sensitive content. I want to talk to you about where we are going now. Are we going to be sliding deeper? Is this a fake out? Are we going to be recovering back up? Are we hitting all-time highs? Is the bull market over? You know, it's really funny, actually. My analyst who's with me, my full-time analyst, is actually a little bit bearish on this right now, and I completely get it. I'm bearish on this too, but I want to dive into both sides and really give you guys my unfiltered take. I haven't looked at any notes for this video or anything like that. This is raw analysis live, you and me. Here we go, and take a look at the dump. So the first thing I want to do when I really analyze these dumps is just see, are we looking at a substantial dump? Are we looking at a fake out? Are we looking at something where we're going to kind of squiggle sideways and then come back up? You know, that kind of thing. That's obviously a real risk. Bitcoin loves these kind of things. Deviations are, of course, Bitcoins. Love language, ladies and gents. And so, you know, is that what we're looking at, or is this going to be a more substantial breakdown? And one of the best ways to identify answers to that question is looking at under what circumstances did we break the key level. So, for example, if we take a look at our $69,000 all-time high, which we basically kind of started to peak around early March of this year, we got that initial breakout above the all-time high, and it didn't last particularly long, and it didn't go above the all-time high by particularly much. Let's say the all-time high was like here, like 69k bang on. We went above, you know, by about 7%. And again, if we look at this, you know, just for a point of comparison, we're also at about 7% below. So in that sense, are we in fake out territory? Definitely, yes, we are. But the other thing to keep in mind is, did we show signs that this level has been tested a lot? Therefore, the likelihood of a fake out is lower, right? I'll give you a good example, right? If you manage to test a level a lot of times and then you finally break it, you're generally looking at a higher likelihood of this area of this breakout being legitimate. Okay, I'll give you a really good example. If we're standing back here, right? What was this? October of 23. And you've seen this breakout, and you ask yourself, is this a legitimate breakout? Well, you've got to ask yourself, again, just like I said at the very beginning of this video, under what circumstances did we get the breakout? In this situation, it was 7 months of sideways trading. We had a range that stretched from $25,000 up to $30,000. We hit the high once over here. We waited an entire 60 days to come back up to this high, and then to the next attempt, we waited an entire 100 days to get back up to this level, which means that this is a substantiated breakout. We've managed to test this area over time. We've produced big reversals coming off this level. We've found consistent support. We're holding higher highs and higher lows in a bull market because the price doubled from this low to this high. So we mustn't forget about basic facts like that. And so when we come to look at this breakout, does it make sense? The answer is unequivocally yes. The answer, the breakout does make sense. It makes sense that this is a breakout. Therefore, I can comfortably say there's a low chance of this being a fake out, and we're probably going to continue in that same upward direction. Again, those of you that were subscribed to this YouTube channel back then were fully up to date on what I was thinking about this, and you knew that we were expecting this from a very, very long time, just like this fake out. Just like this breakout here, because it looks legitimate. Over here, we're able to legitimize this breakout and say that actually this is a substantiated breakout. This breakout makes sense because we bounced off support. And then we bounced off support again. But then our support bounces became more frequent. Our bounces originally were quite big. Then in the same time, we weren't producing big bounces, right? You already know this. You've been subscribed. You know all about this. There have been phenomenal trading opportunities. You best believe there's way more coming in. And obviously the links in the description below will make your life a breeze with all of the free capital that these exchanges are giving you. So definitely check them out. Bybit is still giving you up to $30,000 in completely free trading capital that you can deploy into the market, and any profits you generate with those with that money is yours to keep. You can withdraw it. BingX, no KYC, no pictures of yourself, no pictures of your ID. Phenomenal alternative to Bybit, very strong competitor in the space, and they are offering over $100,000 in bonuses. So if you've already gotten this, shout out to you. You have a lot of extra firepower in these markets that you can deploy. With BingX, you can put this in traditional finance, stocks, Tesla, Apple, S&P 500, gold, Forex, you fucking name it, bro. They got you. Super, super cool exchange here. Definitely an exchange that is well worth looking at. I've been using them for honestly, like a year now. That's crazy. It's been a long time, more than a year actually, that I've been using BingX. So definitely check them out if you want access to those bonuses. If you haven't already gotten them, you are definitely missing out. To get these bonuses on any of these exchanges, you've got to basically sign up and start trading. and they will deposit that into your account. So well worth checking that out. But again, we come back to this breakout here, and it's like I said, we were producing slower breakouts. Again, if we look at the same kind of time frames, this is 1 day later afterwards, we're up by 7%. On this occasion here, if we trace it 1 day later, not even 1 day later, we're up by 14%, literally double the move in the same amount of time, right? These things show you that the market has more strength, right? This move resulted in literally an all-time high where the price went up by 24%. This move resulted in rejections basically in the middle of the entire range where the price only goes up by 12. It's very clear that the market was losing strength, and then we get the drop, right? So these are things that tell me that actually this is a valid breakout. This breakout makes sense. Now let's look at traditional finance. Traditional finance here, it's a it was a Wednesday here in this time zone. Might still be a Wednesday depending on where you are in the world. And we have obviously been seeing a beautiful setup for the S&P 500 to come and correct a little bit lower. If we look at this on the daily time frame, this was the all-time high that the S&P 500 set back in very early January 22. And naturally, we haven't retested this level. And so now that we're starting to pull back, it makes sense that we do. We've already seen the first kind of 5% of this pullback, and then we've seen a recovery up, which is exactly what you would expect. You want to see, staircases if you're going to move down rather than just one straight line down. That stuff isn't sustainable. And it's the same way that we've produced corrections before. So don't think that this is something that the S&P 500 can't do. This is exactly what the S&P 500 does. So we're moving perfectly in line for that kind of a correction right now. And the thing is there's no support, right? When we're looking at these price levels, it's very easy to identify that, 4,300 is a potential area of support. It served as support before, it served as resistance before. Of course, it's going to be support again, or it's going to be resistance again. It's very, very easy to predict these things. Over here, we have no price history. The only price history the S&P 500 has ever produced above this line happened here, and there's fuck all here. You can start making arguments that we bounced off this level because we consolidated here for like 2 business minutes, but you know the deal, I know the deal. The market did not establish any resistance on the way up, and naturally it can't expect any support on the way down, and that's why we've already started to see a small recovery. The recovery lasts about 10 days, so whatever, that's literally 2 weeks of trading, so okay, but the drop happens very quickly after that. We're not messing around. We've fulfilled that correction. We've come up to another very small 3 business minutes of consolidation here before continuing back down. You know what I mean? It's just there's no substance here, and I think that's why we're already dropping down, and I think that's why we're still pointing toward the downside. So again, when we're trying to substantiate this potential Bitcoin move, because this is the first step we need to do before we can start talking about where it can go. I know that you might have even come onto this video thinking, Sammy, just get to the point, tell me where the price is going. Dude, if that's you, get the fuck off my YouTube channel. You don't belong here. You're definitely not going to make any money in the markets. I don't want you here. I want people who are going to make money, because then you can use my referral links, and the more money you make, the more I get paid. So that's fucking sick. So definitely try and make money. It's in both of our interests. That's why I give you guys the best goddamn content on this fucking platform. Subscribe to the channel. If you're new around here, legend, smash up those likes, because I am hyped up. I get very hyped up with this kind of price action because I feel like I go a little bit crazy fucking sitting here in the same damn chair for like 30 days, 60 days saying the same fucking thing, and then finally it happens. It's like, okay, finally, we're in. It's happened. We can start to do some new analysis now. We can start to do something fun and exciting. We can start to look at new opportunities to make profits in the market. That shit excites me, right? This is where I start to make money. This is where things get very, very exciting for me. I'm obviously, by the way, still in my Bitcoin long position. It's the very same Bitcoin long position that you guys heard about before. I'm still riding it. I've had no reason to close it yet. I'm still mega, mega bullish on the market overall. Obviously, I've been telling you guys a lot about that, and that obviously has not changed. How could it change? Because the market hasn't invalidated itself. Let me see if I can pull it up on screen here. But if we do take a look at where this thing could go now, it's all about support. It's the same thing I just said for the S&P 500. We don't have a lot of price history between this 50K level here and the 60K level that we broke below. And if that's the case, if we don't have a lot of price history in these kind of zones, then I naturally can't expect any support until we get down to the next price history, and that's going to be at this 52K level. Now, if we zoom out and we look at the same thing, it's still the same picture throughout 2021. If we take a look at 2021, Bitcoin still clearly does not have much trading action going on between $52,000 and $60,000. And again, I really think that tells us a lot about where this market is. Here, by the way, is my Bitcoin position, still running pretty right there. Very, very happy in a 1,600 percent profit. Obviously, this went way higher, up to like 21, 22, 2300, something fucking stupid, but very, very cool. I've got like absolutely almost no money left in this trade now. I have been taking profits, and yet with 1k margin left in this trade, I opened this trade with over 100k in margin. With 1k margin left in this trade, I still have 24k in unrealized profits. That is the power of compounding gains and leverage and just making the right decision at the right time. And this trade was executed on Bybit. Obviously, one of these profits is not enough for me, so here's the second one, still sitting in this Tron position. I simply haven't been invalidated. And guess what, ladies and gents? I like fucking making money, and if I like making money, that means if a position is making me money, I ain't closing it. All right, I'm gonna keep letting it make me money. If someone's putting money in my pocket, I'm not taking their hand out of my pocket. All right, I'm gonna let them keep it right there, slipping those dollars in. I got no problem with that. I got a couple more Porsches I need to buy, so you know, I'm okay with that mission. And of course, like I said, traded right here on Bybit, where you are gonna get up to 30k in free trading capital. And by the way, 0% spot trading fees. So if you like shit coins and stuff, you can buy them without ever paying fees. And you don't even need to hold USDT to trade these things on leverage, right? If you want to trade Bitcoin on leverage, but you hold a bunch of fucking Solana or something, you can do that. They have unified trading accounts. As far as I know, it's the only exchange ever that allows you to do something like that. Super, super cool. This one's going to be very interesting for people who don't want to let go of their holdings, but they still want to engage in the market. Like I said, phenomenal no KYC alternative right here with the BingX links. But, you know, it's the same thing here. There's no price history in this range between 50 and 60. And so naturally, I can't expect any support until we get lower, because the first question is answered now. Is this a legitimate breakout? And I think the answer is yes. There is the Ichimoku cloud, and we're still in the clouds. So I don't want to fade this indicator. I love this indicator, and I don't like going against it. And we're at the very, very bottom of it right now. If we slip below this, we also managed to clear that, like I said, 7%, 8% breakout, right? That's kind of what happened. If we look at the same kind of thing, we're about 7% below, and this depends on where you draw it. But if you start slipping like 9, 10% below, then it becomes a lot harder to say this is a fake out, right? Like, at what point are you just being silly and you've just got to say, like, look, we're fucking 17% below the support level. Like, surely this is not a fake out anymore, right? So it gets a little bit silly, but because it's Bitcoin, you know, things are silly by default, right? Things are big and ridiculous in terms of their numbers, and that's why fake outs can happen at very, very large scales with Bitcoin. You know, and so one of the things that we like to look at on this channel is simply, you know, are we invalidating key indicators? And for me, a key indicator is the Ichimoku cloud, and the answer is no, we haven't invalidated this indicator yet. So yeah, and you'll see this all the time with different tools, right? I mean, I could just punch in a slightly larger time frame, and the Ichimoku cloud hasn't even been reached yet. So, and this is the 2-day, right? So, like I said, it really does get a bit ridiculous, and you can't really, there's no 36-hour, but you can't really like do this forever, because eventually you're never going to validate your own analysis, you know, be able to trade off it. But I think we've basically met most criteria. Yes, there's a couple criteria that still say, look, we're in the game. You know, we've still got the daily cloud, right? So I completely get it, and that is true. You know, we obviously haven't even gotten anywhere near to the weekly cloud, but on a weekly time frame for momentum, you know, we're just hitting that ribbon now. So, you know, there's so much room to make arguments here, but it's, you know, you got to weigh it up and be like, look, this is just getting a bit stupid now. We fucking broke below 60K. It looked like we were going to break below 60K for a long time. And now we don't have support, you know, another 10K lower at minimum. So we talk about that now. This EMA ribbon actually represents it so well. Support starting over here, but also lining up at that 52K and crucially ending at the 44K level. And you guys know how much I love this price level. The reason I love this price level is because if I tell this to somebody on the street, they'll be like, no, Bitcoin's never going there. Bitcoin's not going to go down that low. That's ridiculous, whatever. And obviously they know better because they're the one with fucking 7 years of trading experience, not me, specifically in Bitcoin, right? Of course they would know better than me. But that's the point, right? Like when you get people who, you know, are kind of fresh in the space, and I'll tell them, you know, with a straight face, like, I think this market has, you know, phenomenal potential to drop down below, you know, 50K, drop down below 48K. They look at me like, what are you talking about, Sammy? And I'm like, yeah, you're fucking damn right I said that. You're new to the game. I'm not. I've sat through 40% drops like they're my fucking breakfast. You haven't. Fucking strap yourself in, mate, because this is Bitcoin and this is what happens in the Bitcoin market. And you know, it's hard to accept these kind of things until you just look back at the last, you know, this previous bull market was super weird, you know, and it didn't even, like, it ended prematurely. So, you know, by a lot of measures, it didn't even, this bull market didn't even finish. And I agree with that hypothesis too, by the way. But if you look at the last kind of like normal bull market, which is, you know, a little bit closer to what Bitcoin's in right now, you know, Bitcoin produced, you know, a series of phenomenal corrections. I mean, from high to low, this one was a 30%. From high to low, this one was a 40%. From high to low, this one was a 40%, which, by the way, is actually actually very similar to where we are right now. I want to draw your attention over to this one before I continue on, because this, has strong similarities with what we're in right now. We're on the daily time frame, bear in mind, and we can even switch this onto the 4 hour, and you see the same thing. Bitcoin ends up setting the all-time high up here at $3,000. I mean, we initially set it here at 2.8, get slightly above it, and then we get slightly above it even more. But then we're just kind of like in a descending triangle. We're losing our highs, we're setting lower highs, which is exactly the same thing that we've got going on right now. Let me show this to you on this chart right here. Let me bring this chart up and move this to the present day. Bear with me here. Same damn thing, right? We've got a series of lower highs being punched in the market. Let me draw the same, it's the same chart. It's the same thing, guys. It's happening in the same kind of place as well. Set an all-time high, punch in a series of lower highs, continue this thing lower, keep the same floor, collapse below the floor, panic everybody, send it for another day, trending even lower. You've now had a daily close below the level. Everybody's losing their shit. Everybody's super scared. Send it even lower down to the $1,700 level. Cue me panic selling for the very first and last time ever in my crypto journey. This was back in July of 2017. I had to sell down here at $1,800. And you know what I did? You know when I got back in? I'll show you when I got back in. I got back in here like an absolute fucking idiot at $5,000. Don't be Sammy in 2017, ladies and gents. You don't want to, the difference now, to put this in perspective, this was what? How many percentage points above the all-time high? 70%? If the same thing were to happen to Bitcoin now, 70% above the all-time high means that you re-enter at 120K. Don't be Sammy in 2017. Use me as your friend, as an example of somebody who fucked this up already. I'm never doing that again. You don't have to repeat my mistakes, okay? I'm telling you my mistakes so that you don't have to repeat them. But the thing is that Bitcoin did the same thing. We kept the same floor. Check. We had lower highs. Check. We broke the floor. Check. We've got the same fucking setup, and all we did was we fell down to the next logical areas on the market, which in this case were $2,000, and then it was like nothing happened. We just started to recover back up. It happened almost as quickly as the drop happened, and I'm not saying that's what's going to happen this time, but it's still entirely possible. We found a little bit of resistance here, so last minute sellers were able to sell because they thought that the market's not going to be able to recover, and we never saw these price levels ever again. Even when Bitcoin had its massive bear market in 2018, where it crashed from $20,000 all the way down to $3,100, it fell down to 3.1K, okay? 3.1K on this chart is not even where Bitcoin set its all-time high. That's 3.1K. If you were ever fishing for these price levels from back in 2018 up to now, which is 6 years later, you haven't gotten it. Peter Schiff, I love you to bits, mate, because you've taught me so much, but you're not getting that entry at 3K, bro. It's just not happening. That's just the space that we're in right now, and you need to be very, very critically aware of that, otherwise you're going to find yourself in very uncomfortable positions. This is what has already played out in the market before, and it was a beautiful 40% correction, right? So we bring it back to the present day chart now, and we talk about, is the same thing possible? Well, where does a 40% correction put us? We've already established that these 40% corrections are very typical in the market. And if we look at this from high to low, a 40% drop, this is 28. It puts us at 52K. This is 30. It puts us at the bottom of the 52K range, which is 51K. This is a 40% correction. It lines up beautifully with, let's zoom out, our $44,000 price level. And if we look at this on a larger time frame, this is the very top of a very important range for Bitcoin throughout its price history. We triggered a major price reversal here that sent Bitcoin up to 2 brand new all-time highs. When we were crashing, this was the only support zone that saved us. When we fell down, this is where we found resistance. And on the way down, this is where we found support. When we were getting our fake out in 2022, this was the key fake out level. When we got above this, everything went to doomsday and we fell back down. 42K is an important level. There's a lot of confluence lining up with this area. In fact, I'm curious, if we just take a quick VPVR volume profile, look at that value area high. Like, it lines up with the same damn price area, ladies and gents. It's undeniable. This is the most important price range that we have within a reasonable drop for Bitcoin's bull market. The most important price range. It's not fucking 48K. It's not 52. it's 44. In fact, it's a little bit lower than that. It's 42. But the reason I'm not saying anything lower than 44 is because it would be out of character for Bitcoin to drop by more than 40%. And I think 40% is enough. I think that there's enough people that are in complete and utter disbelief that this market has already dropped down this much, and they just cannot accept that markets fall down when they go up, and it's completely normal. And there hasn't been a single correction larger than 20% in this entire bull market so far. This is the largest correction we've ever seen since we bottomed out down here at $15,000. And I'll prove that to you right now. Let's just count them. Here's one, 21%. Here's another one, 18%. Here's another one, 21%. Here's another one, 22%, 21%. There's nothing bigger. We're in the biggest correction we've produced so far, and it's literally the same price that we were at an entire 1.5 months ago, 45 days ago, 48 days ago. Like, it's ridiculous, right? Like, if we fall back down to $44,000, we're only back down at the same price level that we were trading at 83 days ago, not even 3 months ago, 2.5 months ago, roughly, is when we were down here. And it's just not that bad. Like, it's just not that scary. The prospect of only rewinding the clock by 3 months in order to have a much healthier uptrend. We already understand that in order to continue to move up, we need to have pullbacks. And so to me, this stuff makes complete sense. There is no more support until we drop lower, and it's at least the 52K area. But we've already established why I think we could go lower. Again, the question really just boils down to, is this a fake out? And again, the way you can determine that is by looking at how you actually produced it. If it's the first time that you're moving up, your chance of it being a fake out is much higher. But if you've been testing the level for a very long time, right? Over here, we only tested the level for about 6 days. If you've been testing this support area now for a period of 55 days, right? And your bounces are getting weaker, and you've just got all of these obvious signs you're losing. Look at this. We've got daily EMA support, and we lost that ages ago. Look at this. Lost it a long time ago. All the bearish crossovers starting to come in like way back. They even started to come in like mid-April, right? The writing's been on the wall for a while, and we knew this on this channel. Like, this cannot take any of you guys by surprise, because you've been watching this channel. You know exactly what the deal is. Super easy atmosphere in this market. Lost the EMA ribbons here. You know what I mean? Like, 4-hour time frame. We lost the Ichimoku cloud. Eventually, and we're getting rejected by it as well. We're rising up into it or very slightly above it, but we're just not able to hold it, and we're moving down. Eventually, you've got to start turning around and being like, well, look, there's always going to be more support. All I have to do is zoom out, and I'm going to find more support. But at some point, I've got to just level with myself, look myself in the fucking mirror, and be like, look, we're trending down. Like, I can keep zooming out, and the picture's going to keep being okay, because we've been trending up for like 1.5 years now, or 2 years, or whatever it's been. But realistically speaking, if we just level down and speak to ourselves realistically, instead of fucking having a jetpack strapped to our backs, we're going to understand that we've fulfilled a lot of criteria for being bearish. And you draw the line of where it becomes bearish and where we're still in fake out territory. That's your business. But I'm telling you where my line is, and I'm telling you that honestly, for me, it really is this horizontal level. It's breaking it with conviction, and it's also, again, it's breaking it in an environment where it makes sense. Here's the S&P 500. Ichimoku cloud doesn't work here because it's 24/7 settings, but here's the S&P 500, and it just makes sense that it continues to drop. And with that alone in mind, that's a good enough reason for me to feel like crypto could be yet to face some more, could be facing some more blood in the future. So if we go ahead and refresh the fear and greed index, we're now looking at a reading of 54 neutral, which was punched in about 20 hours ago. This is going to update again within about 3.5 hours. So shortly after this video goes live, we're hopefully going to see this even lower, below 54. This is the lowest reading we've had in more than 3 months. If we look back at this on the yearly, the last time that we saw a reading this low was basically the end of January. We're now in the beginning of May. So the end of the first month, we're now in the beginning of the 5th month of the year. Time is flying. It's absolutely crazy. And we just haven't been down this low in terms of sentiment for a long time. It's probably going to go a fair bit lower, hopefully into the, mid 40s or something, maybe even fearful territory. That's exactly what you want to see, because it's showing you that metrics in the market are resetting. It's showing you that things are starting to get healthier in the market, which allows us to take better positions. It allows us to prep for that upside to come in a little bit better. We're still seeing a lot of longs come in, and this is important. I'm going to look at this from a couple different perspectives as well. I also want to see this on the on Coinalyze and a couple of other things like that, which I could pull up on stream with you guys. Should I do that? Yeah, fuck it. We'll pull it up on video right now. And the reason I want to look at this is very simply just to see, are we seeing, a lot of, shorts building up in this range, or are we continuing to see longs, right? And if we're continuing to see longs, then, that's probably not a good thing. That probably, represents, more downside to come. And over here from this perspective, let's punch this into a smaller time frame. From the my camera is hiding it. 1 sec. We have got. Can I make this full screen? Yeah, this works. This works. We have got the price dropping down. We're only interested in this drop. A lot of positions are closing. Okay, so this is open interest. This represents how many positions are in the market. If this goes down, that means there's less positions. So a lot of positions are closing. That means longs are closing because the price is dropping and the CVD is dropping. That means shorts are opening. So again, longs are closing. In order to close a long, you got. Pardon me. Sorry. In order to close a long, you got to go short. And by the way, this actually explains a lot, because if we're seeing positions close but the price is dropping, that actually means that longs are closing, just like I've said. And if longs are, like I said, the only way you can close a long is by going short. The only way you can, if you bought Bitcoin, that's an open position. The only way you can close that open position is by selling your Bitcoin. Now, if you're going to sell your Bitcoin, you're going to sell it into the order book. Somebody has to buy it. And if nobody wants to buy it, the price is going to drop. And that's how these drops happen. If that didn't make sense, don't worry. That's honestly like a much more advanced concept, but it's good for you to know. Those of you that are inside of the Four Flies Academy, you already understand this stuff. I'm actually refreshing that course, so that's going to be super exciting. Those of you in VIP are going to get it for free, so that's super, super exciting. But I think that's an important one to just keep in mind at this stage in the market. We have not necessarily seen people selling. We've just seen long positions closing. But from this perspective here, yeah, just continuing to slide down. CVD is picking back up, so to me that just represents, pretty much normal, but more longs coming in, generally speaking. You could say shorts closing as well. But not something I want to spend too much time on. I don't think there's a super clear conclusion to draw from there, but there is from the Binance long short ratio, and this is very, very clearly still super bullish. A lot of people are taking up long positions. Again, when I'm looking for a setup for this thing to rise back up, this is not it. Like more people entering longs here just means that there's more stop losses, and where the stop losses are going to be, they're going to be like basically below this. The stop losses are going to be below this area. So, this happened, and I literally just showed you guys how it was literally just, long positions closing. Like this is long positions closing. This is exchanges collecting their fees and stuff like that. This happened and long positions closed. There's going to be more long positions that close down here. There's going to be more that close down here. There's going to be more that close down here, right? We can, again, it starts to become silly. You can't keep drawing this forever. Eventually it's you got to draw the line and be like, look, this is enough of a correction, but this is not enough. I think that there's still way more that the market could do in the market, probably will do. I think, I've been saying this for a very, very long time. Like I said, this stuff just cannot take me by surprise. It's exactly what we were expecting for so long, and I think that we're only starting to, continue to prove that is indeed the case right now. So, to me, it's all cylinders firing right now. We're still in it. I am personally still very, very excited to see where this thing could go. I think there's phenomenal opportunities that could be presenting themselves. Ethereum is rallying up very high against Bitcoin here, which is interesting. It is still a resistance zone, so I'm not bullish on Ethereum at all right now. I still want to see Ethereum continue to get its rejections and fall deeper into much nicer price zones where I would be interested in buying Ethereum. And it's actually at these lower price zones where I'd consider shoving large amounts of my Bitcoin stack into Ethereum, and I'd probably just hold Ethereum for the next phase of the bull market, because I think that if I can pick up some Ethereum down here and then we get back up, I've literally just made like a free 25% Bitcoin. If I put in one Bitcoin here into Ethereum, I'm walking away with 1.25. And if you're trading with serious amounts of money, that is a fucking big deal. Like that's a really big deal, especially considering the money's basically free. You're not getting out of crypto. You're not reducing your risk. You are, in a sense, you're changing your risk profile, but you're not reducing your exposure to crypto itself. But you're making fucking free Bitcoin. Like that's insane. There's literally no other way to do this in a predictable way. Without fucking putting your money in like bullshit staking things. I think that's a really, really big deal. If I can buy it down here and it comes back up, I'm laughing, bro. I've made like 1.7 BTC out of one Bitcoin down here. And, this is just the first area of resistance. I actually think that Ethereum could get all the way back up to these heights. And that's like a 75% move from here. That is a 140% move from here. That's a 2.4 times gain. If I put in one Bitcoin down here, I walk away with 2.4. These kind of setups are really interesting to me. Obviously on altcoins, they're far more plentiful. There's even more of this on the altcoin market. Here's Cardano And, you know, just to put it in perspective, if Cardano ever reaches anywhere close to its former glory, that's like, you know, 600%, 7 times gain, you know, and that's literally only the high that we set in 2021. So, you know, I'm not saying that that's going to happen, but let's say you're way more conservative and you think it's just like, you know, up to here, up to 2,000 Satoshis, which is a logical sort of, yeah, it's a logical area that, you know, Cardano could get back up to. You're still looking at a 2.6 times gain, you know, and of course, you know, depending on the coin, it can get, you know, even more exciting, even, you know, easier to predict and so on. You know, you're all going to have your different takes on this kind of thing, but you know, I think that this is where opportunities are brewing. I think this is where you're going to be very, very happy with yourself if you've already taken the initiative to get these bonuses. These bonuses can take a couple of days, so, you know, if you're late, then fuck it, it is what it is. But the best thing you can do now is get your bonus now. You know, start trading using these links, and these exchanges will credit those bonuses into your account. If, by the way, if any of you ever have a problem with any exchange I've ever spoken about, message me directly. My link to contact me directly on Telegram is right here in the description. Hopefully this is not a confusing description, guys. I've gotten a bit of feedback from my team about it. They want to simplify the description. I'm like, no, I like the description the way it is. You know, but I'm sure, like, if you can't navigate around this description, then, you know, whatever, you know, I don't know what to say. Like, you're not really going to be able to trade on crypto either if this is confusing for you. Yeah, but this is my direct contact link. If you ever have a problem with any exchange, just let me know. We'll sort it out for you straight away. We always have been able to. It doesn't happen much, but when it has happened, we've always been able to sort it. So yeah, check that out if you're interested in a free 30k on Bybit. If you want to get up to 130k on BingX, bam, that's right there as well. Again, phenomenal no KYC opportunity there. So much more that I want to cover with you all. I literally didn't have enough time, and I've just been speeding through this like I've taken 10 cups of coffee. I'm actually very, very tired, but this price action has absolutely fired me up. And if it's done the same for you, do me a favor and smash those likes up. We are one step closer to setting real all-time highs on Bitcoin without fake outs, without misery, just a real trend up where we're going up to levels, hopefully, that we've never seen before, and that, you know, we're going to stay above those levels for a very, very long time to come. Maybe forever. You know, we're one step closer to all of that beautiful stuff. There's a little bit of a shakeout that needs to happen. It's fucking obvious. Obviously, you know, retail is going to get shaken out here. People are going to start getting scared. We're going to fall down to a support level. People are going to be very, very scared at the support level. And that's where the big institutions, the ETF guys that you've been fucking banging your drums on about, or not you specifically, but the shit munchers in the space, that's when they are going to sell their Bitcoins to the big people in the big suits. And as usual, the rich will get richer and the poor will get poorer. And the markets will be a phenomenal tool, as usual, for transferring wealth from the hands of the impatient to the hands of the patient. It always works this way. We don't come to the market looking for thrills. If you do, you're not going to make money. Come to the market looking to make money, get your thrills in real life. Like I said, I've got a couple more Porsches to buy, so you ladies and gents need to trade as well as you can. I'd use the ref links and all that stuff down in the description, because that is fucking sick. Of course, there are phenomenal opportunities in all seriousness. And you know, it is something that I don't really talk about often because YouTubers don't talk about it, but you know, the better you guys trade, it's actually better for all of us. You know, and obviously I want to give you guys the best content. There's literally nothing I ever hold back on this channel. It is a completely open book. That's why I think we're respected so much in the space. You know, that's why it's literally just one of one. There's only this channel that spits absolute facts like this. You know, and if you appreciate it, your support goes a really, really long way. So thank you all very much for that. Make sure you do smash up those likes. If you do enjoy this content, double check that you are subscribed and you've got the bell icon checked, because again, this is very time sensitive content. You don't want to be missing out on it. Check out your beautiful opportunities, BingX, with over 100k in bonuses, and I'll see you all in the next one. Cheers.